Hello, I'm Scoryth of the Crimson Renegades, and welcome to another special episode, or to a special episode of We Co-op featuring Destiny. Zeraphya is not with me for this, but I just wanted to show off a little tour of what went on in the tower before right after the Taken King content released. First thing you might have noticed is right here, right there, where I went to the postmaster. He gave you an item that allows you to upgrade or to level up a new character to level 25. So if you decide to create a new character after the TTK content comes out, you can use that item, that Spark of Light, to instantly upgrade it to level 25. There are a few other changes that have happened since the 2.0 update, as well as the TTK update. The damage tables have changed, whereas the Year 1 exotic contents, the Vexmith, the class, or an exotic weapon would do 365 damage. It has now gone down to 180 is the maximum you can get, or maybe it's 170. These changes don't necessarily mean that the weapons aren't as powerful as they used to be. It just means that the damage tables have changed a little bit. Whereas the Year 1 weapons numbers have been weakened, the enemies have been weakened to balance that out. So they still do the same amount of damage to the enemies as they would at the 365. Think of it sort of like, this is one of the developers actually defined it as going from a imperial table to the metric system. So it's the same numbers, it's the same damage amount, just different numbers. I'm a little behind on what I'm trying to point out here, but at Banshee, you might have noticed there's some new weapons available. Those weapons are actually experimental weapons that when you use them, depending on what they require, like some may say kill hive targets, if you kill hive with those weapons, they will actually gain experience, and when you max that out, you will gain reputation with Banshee. You also gain missions from other characters throughout the tower that you didn't do before, like you see here at Lord Shaxx. He actually gave you a mission to, I believe it was score some kills in the Crucible. So it's actually interesting how they give you actual missions to do outside just the regular areas. You also have missions from the Vanguard mentors. In this case, my mentor give me throwing knife kills in the Crucible, because I do use the Hunter, the Gunslinger, which uses the throwing knives. Another thing you might have noticed is the class armors, the Hunter Cloak, Titan Mark, and Warlock Bonds, now also do have an additional defense stat. So they actually add to your defense stat, as well as the Ghosts. You can now buy Ghosts and stuff to boost your defense stat. This is where the tour actually begins with Zavala here. One other thing I wanted to point out real quick is the levels have also changed. The level cap now is 40, and it can be obtained by the classic way of just gaining experience from killing enemies, completing missions, and whatnot. You don't have to upgrade your gear and get light on your gear in order to boost your level up any higher than it used to be. So that's actually a nice little upgrade. The way to actually tell how powerful your character is not just by level, but also by the light level, which actually is dependent on, obviously, your armor and weapons, which is all totaled into one big number, which you might have seen in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. I would be commentating a little bit more detailed on this, but I am post-commentating this because at the time I was just so excited the TTK finally came out. I just decided to just run around and look at all this stuff. I didn't think to actually, voice over it while I was doing it, so I apologize for being a little behind in what I'm trying to say. Here's an example of being able to get a ghost. See, the speaker here actually gives you a ghost for completing his part of the Veterans Tour. I'm not exactly sure what the requirements are to get access to this particular mission, the Veterans Tour. I would assume that it just means that at some point during the first year of content, you have to have played the game. I don't know for sure. I mean, by calling it a Veterans Tour, I would assume that's what it means. The speaker is another one of the people that can sell ghosts, as you can see here. At the time of this recording, my Hunter was only level 36 or 34. Yeah, 34. And I could not get any of the higher ghosts. But that's no big deal. In addition to the regular weapons and armor, the bonds the class armor, as well as ghosts, now also have abilities of their own that they learn through experience, just like the weapons and armor used to. You see these cleansing ritual, things like that here. Also, some gear, ghosts, bonds, weapons, armors, whatever, have an ability called Infuse. What it does is it allows you to take similar gear of higher quality and infuse it into the current gear. Now, the thing about it is, the gear you want to infuse into what you have must be of better quality. Now, you may be thinking, well, why would I want to infuse better gear into what I've already got? If it's better, why don't I just equip it? Well, there is actually an advantage to that. If the gear you have may have perks that you want, but the better gear may not, you can go ahead and infuse that better gear into your current gear and keep the perks that you already have and just boost what you already have. It won't be as big of a jump as what you would if you equip the new gear, but you would still be able to keep your perks. So that's actually pretty nice. As you can see here, Eva Levante hasn't really changed much here. She still sells emblems and armor shaders. One other thing I wanted to point out, you might have seen a couple of seconds back, is the armor materials have also changed. When you used to dismantle dismantle your armor, if it was a Titan, you would get plasteel plating. If it was hunter gear, you would get sapphire wire. If it was warlock gear, you would get hydronic essence. Now you get, regardless of the class, you get something called armor materials. So regardless of whatever class you have, dismantling the armor gives you just that, armor materials. So it's a little more generic. You don't have to struggle to kind of get the materials that you need. The factions haven't changed much. They still sell gear, but they sell year 2 gear, so it's a little more balanced to the new stuff. Going back to the armor materials, you can actually, if you have any of the old armor stuff, say sapphire wire, plasteel plating, whatever, you can take it to, I believe it's the Vanguard Quartermaster in the hangar, and you can convert that into armor materials. And it's a 1-to-1 exchange. If you have 10 sapphire wire, you can change that into 10 armor materials. If you have 21, you can change that into 21 armor materials. So it's a 1-to-1 exchange. Let's see, what else we're looking at here. Yeah, you might have also noticed, well, I looked at Banshee a while ago, the year 2 weapons are going to be more powerful than the year 1 weapon. So even if you pick up a green rarity year 2 weapon, it will most likely be stronger than even an exotic rarity level year 1 weapon. That's how much the tables have changed. So while your year 1 stuff is still decent, you might as well go ahead and just dismantle it all after the TTK has already come out, obviously, because you don't want to dismantle it before. I mean, it's already come out, so it's kind of pointless for me to say this, but if you had dismantled it before in your exotic gear, you would lose access to blueprints. I didn't show off what blueprints are, but there are, you might have noticed as I passed by, what look like giant iPads hanging around the places. Well, back down in the Vanguard tower, you actually can get exotic armor and exotic weapons just from a shop, but you have to have uncovered those weapons before. You have to have discovered those weapons and armor before. Here at the Cryptarch, as you can see, when you talk to him for the tour, he gives you a green engram, but when you actually get it, it turns into an exotic engram. I got the Hawkmoon, which is an exotic hand cannon, which is actually it's a pretty decent weapon. I don't really prefer hand cannons, but it's actually pretty nice. When Zeraphya did this, she actually got the year 2 version of the Thorn, which is pretty nice. It got nerfed a little bit for the TTK, but it's pretty nice. Going back to the exotics, once you've gotten an exotic piece of gear, armor, weapon, whatever, you've automatically unlocked the blueprint for it in the tower, in the collection. So you can go back and say if you get the Truth rocket launcher, for example, you can actually go, if you get it on one character, just so you don't have to go back and try to get it again on another character, you can just go to the collection and buy another truth rocket launcher for one of your other characters, if you like that rocket launcher so much, or any exotic weapon. So that's a pretty nice thing. You can actually just buy the exotic gear, but again, you have to have discovered it first. If you haven't discovered the truth, you will not be able to buy it from the collection. Luckily, any year 1 gear that is available as year 2 gear, if you have that, is automatically discovered in year 2. For example, like I said, the truth. The truth is a year 1 exotic rocket launcher. It is available as year 2 also, and it is already discovered in the year 2 list. Some weapons did not make year 2, at least as far as I've experienced. The Vex Mythoclast, for example, and the Galahorn did not make year 2. There are some armors that have made it, so if you have some armor, exotic armor, you might want to check the collection to see if it is made year 2, and then, it'll already be discovered, but you still have to build up the legendary marks required in order to buy it. Going back to that, the legendary marks have replaced the Vanguard and Crucible marks. They're now just combined into one currency, and that's what's used to buy a lot of the legendary gear, including the Cryptarch, which now only sells legendary engrams. They can only be bought with legendary marks. Here at Era, she hasn't really changed very much either. For the tour, she gives you a pretty powerful class armor, you can see here. The only thing that's really changed is she's added 2 items called the Reciprocal Rune and the Stolen Rune. They are specifically for a special area in the TTK content called the Dreadnought. I'm not going to spoil too much about it here. You'll see what that's all about when we get into the TTK content.
Keep silent.
TTK. Make sure I say that right. So, let's see if there's anything else I need to mention. I think that's just about it. Shax has a mission for you regarding the tour. He gives you a few items for celebrating your time in the Crucible, which for some of us wasn't very much, if any at all. I'm not very good at PvP. I'd rather not get frustrated with it. He gives you actually the Medallion of Iron and the Passage Coin. Those are actually part of other PvP based things, specifically the Iron Banner for the Iron Medallion, and the Eyeball coin was for the Trials of Osiris, which released with the Wolves Bane content, or the House of Wolves content back in way back. Zavala's the last person you talk to for the tour. He gives you this tiger emblem called Be Brave, and that wraps up the tour. I didn't show you everything that could be shown here, but I did show you a lot. We'll show you a lot more when we get to the actual TTK stuff. So, for now, for Zeraphya, I'm Scoryth with the Crimson Renegades, and we'll see you later.